Right? Wrong. In sind drei! Ust, Cowards and traitors will be shot! Ah!
Oh my god. Oh my god! Hello? Hello? Oh my fucking Christ! Oh, fuck. Mark! Quick, come here, there's a ghost! Quick, get in! What? There's a fucking ghost! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Doctor, what's the analysis?
Mr. Randall, I'm afraid it's bad news. We need to talk. The disease has already spread to all of Xbox's vital organs. His heart, his lungs, his liver.
Is there anything more that Call of Duty or Guitar Hero can do for the thing?
I'm afraid not. Xbox is going to die.
No, it can't be, Doctor. There has to be some way.
I'm afraid the only option now we have is to pull the plug.
Please, no. Give it a chance.
Sorry, but my hands are tied.
No, Xbox. No!
I'm so sorry. Okay.
Are there any ghosts in this room? Oh, fucking hell.
Okay, let's ask another question.
Do you like Jack Daniels? Oh my god, she's an alcoholic.
An alcoholic ghost in your TV.
Can any ghosts hear us in this room?
Yes.
Fucking hell! Ah!
Fuck is it? Kill that motherfucker! Oh, come on, fucking do it!
I can't. Fuck, no, I can't.
Do it, man, try! Hang on, I've got an idea. Come with me.
Get it! I know my gun! The power of Christ compels thee!
No! I'm dying!
It's gone! It's gone! High five!
High five, yeah! Ah!